So recently you ran for the Senate in our federal election. I know you didn't get a seat, but I am interested in your election or your policies because, to quote your election pitch, house prices have to fall.
Yep.
We have worked out how to do that without losing homeowner equity and while benefiting renters. And I would really love to hear about that. And apologies that we didn't interview you before the
You got your
election.
5,000 more votes.
How can you explain for us? Because it sounds very, very clever mathematically how you can actually have prices fall without people losing equity. How can that happen?
There's two ways to create money. The government can run a deficit, or the banks can lend more than they take back in repayments. Those are the two fundamental ways you create money. Now, what we've had is an obsession on the policy side for the last 40, 50 years, pretty much, with reducing government debt. So therefore, government's been trying to run a surplus. Now, when a government runs a surplus, and actually Robert Menzies would have been a good guy to interview on this because he actually understood it, believe it or not. Menzies, when in the 1961 election, almost got turfed out because unemployment hit the unheard of level of 3.2%. Okay? He then rapidly abandoned the austerity he was caught up at the time and said he's going to outspend the Labor opposition. Labor under Caldwell said they're going to spend 100 million quid. You have a deficit of 120 million. And Menzies said, 100 million pounds. He said, I'm going to run a deficit of 120 million. And that's going to give 120 million more pounds to Australians to spend, and that'll stimulate the economy. So he actually understood money creation after making a mistake about it in 61. So if government runs a deficit, it puts more money into your bank account through spending than it takes out in taxation. Banks, at the same time, put money in your account so long as you agree to having an identical amount of additional debt. So those are the two ways you can create it. Now, that's because of the obsession about reducing government debt, which was stupid. That has meant that we've got far too much credit-based money and far too little fiat-based money. So what my proposal was what I call the modern debt jubilee, and I know it's got zero chance of ever happening. Okay, but the idea is you could give every Australian adult $100,000 government-created money, so that if you have housing debt, you must pay your debt down, or debt of any sort. So you therefore eliminate $100,000 debt per person. That's pretty much 100% of GDP. So you'd go from debt level of 120% to 20% of GDP in doing that. But there are people without debt also get cash, which could be, in this case, government bonds, which would pay them an income stream. So the people who don't have debt get an income-earning bond flow. And what you've done, you haven't changed the amount of money in the economy. You've changed it from being mainly credit-backed to mainly fiat-backed.